Welcome to the first episode of 30 Minutes with Darius. I'm your host, Terrell Lindsay. To my right, we have founder and CEO of League Swipe, Darius Grandberry. Welcome, my brother. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Ready to get into this 30 minutes um, with you about, topics, all things fantasy, all things sports. Um, so let's get into it. I know NFL specifically had a rough week last week. Um, and I definitely would love to hear your perspective on what happened last week and the injuries in the NFL and some of the dangers in the NFL. But before we get into that, just give the folks, the audience, a little bit about League Swipe real quick before we get into this 30 minutes. All right.
Awesome, man. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about all things sports. I'm a sports fanatic, longtime fantasy sports player, man. So building League Swipe is truly um, close to my heart. Something that I enjoy doing for the fans, for the sports fans like me, man. League Swipe was designed to help commissioners, fantasy sports commissioners. I'm one of those guys who's a fantasy sports commissioner in multiple leagues, and Leagues White was created to help those commissioners, man, collect money more easily and make payouts more easy throughout the season, man. We try to increase engagement through the season by offering people an easy way to make payouts for those prop bets and those side bets that people make them, in fantasy sports throughout the year. Um, that's where we at, man. We just came out of Tech Stars. We're extremely happy. We got some great momentum moving from football into the basketball season, and just trying to keep things going, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's jump right into it, man. So what are your thoughts on how the NFL handled the situation last week with the injured Bills player, and speak a little bit about the dangers of the NFL, man, and your perspective on that.
First off, man, you know my prayers are with Demar. I'm so happy to see that he's improving, man. I mean, last week I was sitting down with my son. He's 9 years old. He loves football. We had conversations around him playing football, and right now, me and my wife are like, no tackle football, especially this early. And I played tackle football early in life, but knowing what we know now about the dangers of football, I'm like not really for my child participating at such an early age. So I know I've for a while recognized the dangers of football and of tackle football and what how that could impact families, man. And last week was just sort of the culmination of my fears, man. Watching a young man laid out, watching teammates crying, watching his mom run out of the stands to go be with her son. It was scary. It was something that I hadn't experienced before. It was different. I mean, you've seen, horrific injuries, leg injuries, arm injuries, and people, taken away on a stretcher. But man, to see that ambulance roll across the field, man, and to see the looks on the people's faces and no thumbs up from the player, it was extremely scary, man. I think the NFL, they did the best that they could. I think they handled it appropriately. Um, the thing that I love about sports, man, is just the love and the sense of community that it allows, man. You saw all of the outpouring of support for him and his family over the last 7 days. That's the stuff, man, that really, really, really makes me enjoy participating in all things sports, man. It's that sort of that brotherhood that you can't get in other places, that was on full display over the last 7 days. So it was awesome to see, man. I'm glad that he's doing well. And then yesterday, man, first play of the game, a kickoff by the Bills for a touchdown. It was like scripted, but it was fun to watch, man. It's been fun to watch. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we share thoughts there. I mean, I think it was really hard to watch, and like your son, my son is 10 as well and plays sports and football specifically, flag football, and he's starting to enjoy that. um, and he's been mentioning about tackle, right? And I'm just like, yeah, we're the same, man. It's just like, nah, it's just too much. It's a brutal game, right? Um, and we're just not there yet. At least I'm not there in terms of allowing my son to play. And it's just it's a sport you love to watch, but you understand the dangers of it, and that's just the reality of it. It's dangerous,
Yeah.
man, and these things, and it's I guess you can say it's a blessing that we haven't really seen something like this in all my years of watching. Right? You would have think that
Yeah.
you saw something. Um, something similar to this back in the day, but no, we haven't. The only thing that I can kind of go back to is the Bears receiver that got hurt some years back,
Knox.
Knox, right?
Yeah.
And seeing that, it was pretty brutal seeing that. But when he's alive and well and walking, and doing fine. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just it's
Yeah.
really hard to kind of to wrap your mind around seeing something like that, right? And it's scary, right? And the injuries are a part of the game.
It
Um,
is. It is. And this was, I mean, it was a cardiac event. So, I mean, the details really haven't been released as, I don't know if there was existing, conditions that heighten the chances of something like that happening.
yeah, possibly.
But regardless, I think
Yeah.
you and I and other parents across the country,
Hmm.
our fear is that our child may not be able to walk again or have a challenge life, but
Yeah.
not dying on the
Hmm.
football field. Like that isn't what you expect.
Right.
And that last week was like there was a real possibility that that could happen.
For sure.
And I was even thinking of like how to prepare to have that conversation with my son. Like,
Right.
I don't know. And it was interesting too, because he was preparing to talk about how things happened and it was an isolated incident at 9. Like he was
Right.
ready to stand on his to be like, look, man,
Yeah.
I
Nah.
see the dude about to die, but that's not discouraging my
Right.
efforts
Yes.
to get
Yes.
on that field. So
Yeah. No, you got a
yeah,
different type of kid.
man, I'm telling you.
In that sense, man. But the other thing too about the NFL, right, and that job or choosing that career, I saw earlier or late last week, I saw a clip of Warren Sapp um, talking about. I don't know if it was the injury. It was literally a clip, and it was just basically him talking about um, all the years that he's played in the NFL, and then how he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, or he was on the ballot, or whatever that was, and then after, like, he was available to be on the ballot after like 5 years. And don't quote me on this. I'm just kind of going from memory here, but he was available to be on the ballot after about 5 years, and he said, you know what else? He's like, you're at that point in time, your insurance is up, and you have to get your own insurance. And he
Mm,
was like, what insurance company is going to um, give a player like me who's played in the NFL for 10 plus years, in the trenches, you know what I mean, getting banged up at a decent amount. And I was like, I didn't
right.
even think about that, right? Like, what? And most of these players, when you look at their hands, the way that they
Oh yeah.
walk, it's just, I mean, I can't imagine what they wake up, what they wake up and try to get out of the bed with, the pains that they have every morning,
Yeah.
to try to deal with. So it's brutal in that regard too. So you play for a short period of time to entertain folks, and then the rest of your life is like, your fingers are are going one way or the other, and your
Yeah.
knees and your ankles are don't work. So it's just, I don't know where we go from here. It's just going to be interesting to see the future of the NFL and technology, and how it could potentially improve and make the game less dangerous, if that's possible, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm hoping so. I told my son, hopefully
yeah,
by the time he gets to high school, they'll improve player safety. Then I thought to myself, I was like, that's like 3 years from now. Like time does not wait for anyone.
it does
So
not. It does not.
yeah, man. But I still love the game. So it's really, You know,
we'll still watch. You'll still put your
still watch, still love the game.
still
I
put your
mean,
fantasy. You'll still get your fantasy teams together.
yeah, I mean that's why I went to fantasy. When I couldn't play anymore, I was like, "What? How could I get this? How could I scratch this itch? My competitive itch, man." So,
Yeah, and I mean, I
uh,
guess that's why you leaped into starting a company that's so closely related to fantasy sports.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
that and I spent 20 years moving money in the corporate world as a CPA and
Yeah.
former CFO. So I was like, I'm tired of moving money for other folks. Let me create a company that's about moving money for people that I enjoy being around, man, my fellow fantasy players. So
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of
that's what
fantasy,
we did.
how is your fantasy teams doing? How are your fantasy teams doing?
So uh I got a ship in one league. But I'm not gonna tell you how many leagues I'm in, because then you'll start looking at percentages and be like, "Look, come on, bruh." Um, but I did get affected by that Cincinnati Buffalo game in a
Mm-hmm.
couple leagues, man. I had Josh Allen and Joe Burrow in a couple championships. So we had to
Yeah.
it's real interesting right now. You got to figure out how you split this championship up, how you determine these championships, and there's some real conversations going on around how you do it. I'm in one league where guy was up by 70 points going against Joe Burrow and I don't know, I think it was T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd,
Mm-hmm.
and he conceded his championship. I don't know. I might have. I mean, it would have been difficult for them to get 70 points, but I guess it's
Right.
possible. Um, so I don't know. They decided to split it in half. So there's a lot of conversations on how you do that fairly.
Mm.
Um, there's some talks about people getting refunded their money in leagues because of that game, which I think is absolutely absurd. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's been interesting, man. I mean, that's a real life problem. I mean, a real life serious problem with Demar situation that had like reverberating effects in the fantasy world, and it's almost hard to talk about given the severity of the situation. But again, man, it's a blessing. The dude is good, and everybody will work through whatever issues they have in the fantasy sports world. But
Yeah, for sure. And I
you
did
know,
read that the NFL decided to just pay him out in full, in terms of his contract. Right.
oh yeah,
I also think that that was the right thing to do. Um, I did kind of question. I mentioned previously. I don't envy Roger Goodell's situation at this point.
yeah,
Just from an optics perspective. Aside from the seriousness of the situation, and understanding that the most important thing is making sure that that player, pulls through. But then there's just kind of the fallout from um, a business perspective, right? Football is one. Basically, they own a day, right? That tells you,
right, 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 right.
and we're talking about that's the same day that people go to
Go to
go to church, right?
right.
They went up against a religion, and still, it's like a religion.
Yeah, man.
So you
Faith,
know,
family, and football.
right,
Yeah.
right. I just, I didn't necessarily, or I don't envy Roger Goodell in that situation, but it seems as though they seem to be handling it um, appropriately in this.
Yeah, he did the right thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You and I talked about this before, though. I mean, I like to see it. Like I like to see when leaders and CEOs and commissioners have to make hard decisions, because that's when you really get a chance to learn what it's like um, when times aren't at their best. Like it's easy to make decisions when things are running smooth, right? You know, re-upping contracts with networks and getting everybody paid. But when you have tragedies like what happened last week, um, and the whole Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling situation, and having to deal with all of that, and the backlash, and everything that comes with it, like it's intriguing to me to see how those in charge handle those situations. One of the reasons I started League Swipe is because I did have aspirations to be a commissioner of something at some point. Um, and I said, When I started building this, I said, why not become the commissioner of commissioners and build something for a community and for a group of folks who, again, I enjoy being around. Um, and I take these lessons in leadership seriously because I want to make sure that when I'm presented with situations that are tough, um, that I have the right perspective and coming up with solutions to address those issues, man. So I don't take those decisions lightly. I pay very close attention to them and see how people handle it and see how the world reacts to those decisions, man. So hopefully, hopefully I'm picking up good nuggets and hopefully I can apply them appropriately when situations like that arise in my life. So
Oh, jury's still out on that.
yeah, man, it is. It is. I think it'll be out forever.
No, 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 absolutely, man. I think you're doing a great job, and those opportunities will be there. And when they do come, I think I absolutely think you'll make the right decision moving forward with the information that you have, right? And so now
Yeah.
we're getting close to that time, bro. So we'd like to like wrap it, start to wrap it up. And so what I'd like to do is give the audience an opportunity to understand exactly what where we are with League Swipe or where you are with League Swipe. Um, and what they can look forward to next.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. We're live on the Apple and Google Play stores. So download it today. Like I mentioned earlier, we're excited. We just came out of Techstar Chicago, which was an awesome opportunity for us to kick the tires in our business, talk to our customers, truly understand the value that we can add to this community. And I think we've taken a great first step at, really providing a solution for folks within the fantasy sports betting community. Um, right now people are still like hounding their friends and trying to collect money. I mean, there's still people who haven't paid into to fantasy leagues, and now it's time to make the payouts. And you got these commissioners struggling to have those conversations. We do that for people. That's what League Swipe is here for, to help nag and get you paid in a fun and productive way. We also encourage payouts throughout the season. A lot of leagues stick to just that season end payout because they don't want to go through the headaches of making those weekly payouts for highest score and other prop bets that you may create, um, to get people to keep people involved and engaged throughout the season. We make it easy for you to do that. So right now you can set up your payout structure and we'll tell you who won and how much they won and help you make that payout weekly. And then the payout at the end of the season, man. So we take you out of spreadsheets. You don't have to manage that in Excel anymore. You don't have to dumb down your league because you don't have the time to administer payouts and collect for folks. Um, League Swipe is the commissioner's best friend, man. And if you have trouble as a commissioner doing any of those things, please check us out. If you're a participant in the league and you're not the commissioner, but you know that this is something that your commissioner could benefit from, let them know about it. Download it, send it over to them, share it with them. We're in beta. We're doing a beta group. This is an MVP, so we know there's bugs. So, but we're looking for those first folks to come in and truly take a look at the application and give us some real feedback. And we're startup, we're hungry, we're listening to our customers, man. So download it, let us know what you think, and we'll take it from there, man. We're excited about where we're headed, and we're excited about being a value add to the fantasy sport community.
Absolutely. And we know if you don't have League Swipe, you struggling. So get League Swipe.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
All right.
Period.
Period.
Period. Period. Yeah,
All
you
right,
out
bro.
here struggling.
Yep. Absolutely. So we got a solution for you. Appreciate you for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, man. Peace.